Good evening. Tuesday, July 30th, 2024 here in Sarasota, Florida. This is video 8 of 30 in a new series. And guess what? Title came to me today. The title of this series is going to be Touching the Soul Through the Heart, Body, and Mind. Touching the soul through the heart, body, and mind. Now, I listed those things, heart, body, and mind, in that order very specifically. In yesterday's video, we touched upon the heart. Today, we're going to touch upon the body portion. Tomorrow, we'll return back to more of the mind. And why do I put the mind last? We'll talk about that in tomorrow's video. For today, we're going to focus a little bit here in this share on speaking about the power of movement, the power of being connected to one's own vessel. And, there are 4 dimensions that I see and define the overall human's health. 4 primary areas, dimensions: mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual. I would say that I'm pretty darn balanced in my little world. I have grown to be quite balanced in these 4 things. And quite honestly, I've been pretty balanced in these 4 things, save spiritual, for most of my life. Spiritual didn't kick in until I had my awakening back in 2010. So the spiritual was really the missing component because I didn't have religion. I was brought up Catholic and I made my first communion, and I don't think I ever made my confirmation because it interfered. It was in 9th grade and it interfered with all my sports. And my mom was a single mom with 3 of us, and she wasn't going to fight. She just didn't have it in her tank to fight on it. So that's when we pretty much stopped going to church, and I stopped with catechism and all the church stuff. It never did anything to move me, ever. And both sides of my family were Catholic, even my Arabic side. Apparently, there's a bishop in our distant family back in Syria. So even though my grandfather was born in Damascus, Syria, my dad is first-generation American. We were part, apparently, of the small sect of Christians in that country, in Syria. So both sides had Catholicism and serious Catholicism. Like, grandparents went to church, every single day to morning mass. But I did not. The only part of mass I liked were the songs. That's it. And there were far too few, in my opinion. It just didn't, it did nothing for me. It did nothing for me. And it wasn't until 20 years later, after stopping to go to church, that the spiritual side very much needed that belief in something bigger. And I wanted to believe, but I was very uncomfortable with calling it God. And I'm going off a little bit too much on that tangent, but suffice to say that the mental, the physical, and the emotional side have always been, pretty developed. The physical, however, has dominated most of my life. I was an athlete damn near out of the womb. I played basketball all the way through part of my sophomore year in college before relinquishing my full athletic scholarship down here at the University of South Florida. That's how I ended up down here from suburban Detroit. I was flown down to look at USF, and they were offering me a scholarship. To be honest with you, I thought it was a joke when I couldn't believe it. I'm like, you guys have seen me, right? I'm not even 5 feet tall. I hadn't even been on an airplane before when I came down for my recruiting visit in October of my senior year of 1993. So it's physicality is something that I have not struggled with. Um, Cardio wise, strength wise, athletic coordination wise, I am and have been and continue and plan to continue to be a very physical being. And it is unbelievably, I'd say, empowering and magical to be connected to one's body in that sort of physicality. I love being in shape. I just, I really, I derive it. It's a coping mechanism. It's a balancing mechanism. It's a inspirational mechanism. And it, a lot of times I don't even work out with music. Sometimes I do, but just as often I don't, so that I can really feel my breath, my breathing. Well, today, and I don't think it's accidental that this title of this series came to me on the massage table today. So today I had a massage, and today was the eighth day that I've been doing. So I couldn't do yoga on Friday or Saturday because I had to work a gig. But I've done a yoga class every single day except for Friday and Saturday now. So 6 out of 8 days. And my massage therapist actually thinks that she can already feel the difference in my body. And it was, when I'm the bliss and the luxury that having a massage is for me is indescribable, like indescribable. Massage was one of the biggest ways that I had to allow myself to heal through. Way back when I first started this venture, this conscious venture of launching my company of me. That first year in 2013, I was getting massages almost every single week because one of the things that I had to slowly condition myself into was allowing myself to be touched and not in a safe context. And the nature of my physical work has meant that massage was actually more of a necessity for me than a luxury. It really is something that is essential for me to keep my body healthy and balanced. So only recently did I start, less than a year ago, about a year ago, almost a year ago, I got word from one of my farm friends that her good friend had just started her own little massage business. And this woman, oh my God, the way she creates her atmosphere and how it ignites my senses and the anticipatory energies that I feel just closing my eyes and having the experiences I do. Today I had my first deep tissue with her, but she does this head to toe massage that also includes a facial, and it is unbelievable experience. I am in pure bliss, and it is so easy for me in those moments to absolutely be 100% present. And I close my eyes and I take in every bit of how my senses are ignited. Closing my eyes so my sight isn't really seen outside of me, but what I see internally when I close my eyes during these massages is crazy. It's crazy. And then this beautiful smells, and I'm a big scent person. So all the smells, and she uses these tremendous products, see the way they feel on your skin. And then of course the massage itself. Today was painful as hell. My back and neck, like it's a mess up there. My whole body is so tight and has been because I'm a horrible stretcher. So that brings in the yoga. And today, noticing the difference in my body after only less than a week of yoga at the massage, and then going from the massage to yoga to the sauna, and my body is like still buzzing. Like I am buzzing from today. And it was like one of the best yoga classes I've ever had. The perfect balance of breathing, stretching, and poses. It was unreal. It was unreal. Like I am still, it's almost 11 at night. So I'm capturing this video at the last moment, but I am just buzzing with the body, how my body and how present I was. And I also, because I'm trying to heal this hip bursitis, I'm on running time out. I'm on time out, no running for this whole month, hence the yoga. But I am walking. I'm walking at an incline at the gym for 5+ miles at a 7% incline for however 5 to 6 miles is what I've been doing. And so I'm pushing myself in a different way. My heart rate isn't getting as high, but that incline is also allowing my body to experience something that we live in Florida, so we don't have any fucking inclines here, unless I go to the celery fields and run the hill, which I do rarely, which I do regularly, but I'm no running. So it like today's body day was absolutely insane. And that is when the intuition for the title, or the idea for the title, hit me on the massage table. I'm like, this is perfect, a perfect title. And I just, there is so much. I mean, we came here, we are spiritual beings at our essences, having a physical experience. So listen, we came here to be physical. That is a for certain thing. We came here to use these magnificent, miraculous bodies. And I will say again, on so many levels and dimensions, I don't think we've even touched the tip of the iceberg of what it means to be human. And, I just, what we're able to do in terms of healing our own bodies, in terms of mental telepathy, in terms of the dialing into our higher selves and our multidimensional beings, and then bringing back those connections and what we intuitively pick up from those connections to the other aspects of ourselves and other dimensions. We've been bring it back to this vessel. Like it is, and the other thing that I've been going through body wise is I have, I'm not a big drinker, but I am a huge, enormous fan of marijuana. Huge fan, changed my life. I didn't smoke for the first time till I was almost 28 years old. I came to it late in life, but it changed my life. But in recent months and years, I've recognized I was leaning a little too hard on it. Now, comparatively, I still, it's not any different than somebody having a glass of wine every day or a beer, one beer when they come home. But smoking every day, about 6 months ago, I really had to, after many attempts to pull away, and then I'd come back. I'm like, you know what? This is it. Now it's time to really establish back to the most potent, find the cadence with it that serves me the greatest. And I knew that meant pulling back a lot. Now it's not hard. It is way harder for me to pull back from caffeine and sugar, way harder than pulling back from the weed. But I have pulled back dramatically, where I've probably only been, had the effects of THC, I'd say maybe 4 times in the past 4 months. It's been very infrequent when I used to be almost a daily smoker. I never would smoke and take it with me on the road, especially when I'm air traveling. Never, ever, ever. So I would regularly go weeks without it. But when I would get home, my part of my routine at home was leaning on this. And I'm like, man, I'm not digging this anymore. We need to find a better balance. So this whole calendar year has been drastic reduction in use. And I am feeling freaking phenomenal. I'm feeling so incredible. And I just rode the high of how dialed in I was to my body and meditating, like really through my spiritual connection, and then weaving that like in a figure eight my spiritual higher connection back into my vessel, back up to my higher self, back into my vessel, pretty much all day today. And I don't know. I just, like I said, I feel like I'm still spiraling through the cosmos because it was just an amazing experience. And so I shared that part only because that was what today was. But I also share because I'm a doer. I am very connected to my masculine energy. In fact, dying to balance it out with less doing. But being that I have to support myself and I'm not playing the mainstream game, that means that I still gotta work and do quite a bit to keep it all up, to keep everything moving. And while I don't really want to continue to have all of my earning eggs in the physical basket as it is right now, I am so grateful that my job does allow me to be physical and to move because I don't know, I'm biased. I admit my bias. I mean, again, I've been an athlete and an active person my whole life. But as I've grown in balancing it with the other aspects of myself, growing tremendously emotionally, definitely growing spiritually, and the mental and learning to temper that mental part. It's just it's really indescribable in a lot of ways. And I also intuitively feel like there is something pertaining to movement and a different sort of event that I have spent years dreaming about. Something with dancing and music, something other than just triathlons and running races. I've wanted to come together with a group to co create a different sort of movement based, music based, athletic dancing sort of based event that obviously then is fitness as well. And again, I kind of throw it out there as I'm not quite sure why, but I don't foresee slowing down in the movement of my body anytime soon. And it will increasingly be at least one component of things that are going to comprise my world of work. And we'll see in what ways it might reappear here in this series. But for now, that's all I'm going to share for today. Not a particularly great share, but I saved it till the last minute again. And yeah, touching the soul through the heart, body, and mind. Body is an amazing miracle that is calling us every day to feel it, to hear it, to learn from it, to tap into it. It's an important piece of why we're here. And it's a piece that I'm super grateful that I have such a good relationship with my body. Because for a lot of years I didn't. And perhaps that'll be another tangent we revisit in another video. But for now, I'm going to let my blissed out self go enjoy one final quick meditation before I hit the sack. So thanks for watching. Sorry for the bad lighting, and we'll return with video 9 tomorrow. Have a great night, or morning, or afternoon, whatever time of day it is, whenever you may catch this. Good night.